Back to our top story now. Our exclusive new details about the roles Canadians played in Algeria's gas plant attack. The 4-day siege in January left more than 80 people dead. And now we're learning that at least one of the 2 Canadian militants killed was much more involved than we had first thought. He may have helped plan the attack. But exactly how it was done, the nuts and bolts, have been a mystery. So Adrienne Arsenault went to Mauritania to piece together the Canadians' travels in terrorism.
What must they have thought the first time they really took this in? The color, smells, rhythms of Mauritania so remote from the Canadian reality of Ali Medlej, Chris Katsarubis, and Aaron Yoon. The ending of their story so much clearer than the beginning. 2 dead as militants in Algeria, 1 in jail here. So why was this country a crucial long stop on their travels in terrorism? CBC has learned the 3 arrived together in the second week of April 2011 by car through the desert from Morocco, heading straight for the capital, Nouakchott. We checked with half a dozen hotels, places young travelers might stay. No sign of them in the registries. Then a tip to look at a neighborhood police see as a criminal hub, a meeting point for extremists. Auberge Sindabad. Small, filthy, but the hotel manager accommodating. He instantly remembers them, a bit nervous to have his face shown. Hard to forget Canadians here, he tells us. Then he pulls out his registry, and there they are, all checking in together on April 15th, 2011. We now know that is less than a week after getting their entry visa to Mauritania.
They stayed together in one room for 3 days.
Seeing their faces, he remembers details. Yoon described as friendly, Medlej as tough. He recalled little of Katsarubis except his beard. Turns out the short visit wasn't the only one. Medlej and Yoon returned in October 2011, sat in this very room to eat with the manager. Then Aaron Yoon came alone to stay in December 2011. Where were the others? In the middle of the interview, he asked why we're curious. We explain.
Les deux, maintenant, sont morts.
Les deux sont morts?
Oui.
No idea that 2 are dead and 1 is in jail. He says investigators haven't shown up, have never asked questions here about the Canadians. They should. This is not your typical tourist hotel. On the face of it, the young men had no business here, a place where you can taste the tension. Someone must have guided them. There's compelling evidence that when the 3 first arrived, they immediately enrolled for a few months in a small, deeply conservative Quranic school attached to a Nouakchott mosque. It is this imam who leads the school and unusually agreed to talk with us, but only under the strictest of conditions. As women, we must be covered head to toe, must not make eye contact, must sit at a lower height, must not be within physical reach. Despite the evidence, he knew them. Once faced with their pictures, the imam is emphatic he did not.
For certain. I established this school. I've been the head of it for 32 years, and never have any of these faces stood in front of me. A Canadian has never set foot in here.
No memory of them at all. And the imam says the real answers are probably back in Canada.
Did they learn a correct Islam in Canada, or did they only come to Mauritania to pretend to learn when really they were coming to meet with extremists?
Maybe they definitely arrived here with plans.
So once the 3 Canadians left Nouakchott, they made a decision not many would have. They headed deep into the desert to a relatively new and smaller school, one that seems far beyond the reach of authorities. It is the sort of school that has the locals talking in frightened whispers about just what sort of people it seems to attract.
Where and what is it exactly? Well, look, it's just a speck on the Golden Sahara, a tiny compound. Of all the highly respected schools in Mauritania, why this one? You find it off the highway that leads towards northern Mali. That is home to terror training camps where the Algerian attack was formed. And this is known terrain for al-Qaeda bandits on the prowl. Some villagers say the new school attracts strangers who scare them. As women, we were told we were not welcome at the Takfiri radical Islamic Mahadra, so we were dropped off, instructed to briefly hide with a welcoming local family. The imam granted the men in our crew a visit of only a few minutes. He had something crucial to show them tucked away in his files, copies of the passports of the Canadians. And so here it is, the very first look at the three as men. Faces older, sometimes harder. Yoon's passport only issued at the end of March 2011. They were traveling less than 10 days later. The imam said Medledge's behavior wasn't good. He fought with Yoon, was arrogant. Katsarubis left earlier than the other two. It's not clear where he went. The imam also says police have already been by to ask these questions, but he insists he has few answers. By November 2011, the three had gone separate ways. Medledge staying in this heavily barricaded compound in Nouakchott. It was raided. All inside arrested, including Ali Medledge, for possibly plotting an attack. Medledge's interrogation report is short. The question's benign. We've spoken with those who met him who claim he had no ill intent, so they released him. No charges. What a mistake. We communicated with prison sources who knew Medledge, asking where did he go after being released. The answer? He went to work at the gas plant in Algeria, the same one he then helped attack nearly a year later. The suggestion is he scouted the place, then went to training camps in Mali to help design the terror assault. How close Mauritanian officials had come to stopping him. With Canadian sources, we confirmed that at least one of the two Canadians worked at the plant, possibly both of them, learning the basics.
Where are the doors? Where are the windows? Where are the people living?
This Mauritanian terror analyst says an advance team is the only way the attack could have been pulled off. His research tells him that by the fall of 2012, Medledge and Katsarubis were in Mali learning the mechanics of murder.
And it takes from 2 weeks to 2 months. And if this finished, he became a soldier. He became a combatant.
Next stop for Medledge and Katsarubis, Algeria. What about Aaron Yoon? Seems he too made a friend at that remote school. This man, Mohammed Al-Hafez Wild Al-Sheikh. According to an interrogation report, he showed Yoon jihadi tapes, sent him to Nouakchott to wait for instructions. Alert Mauritanian officials arrested the friend, then picked up Yoon too. We have spoken with Aaron Yoon on the phone, but we tried to see him in prison, there in the distance. Officials barred it, taking pictures of the jail deemed illegal. Some do exist, though, of the compound where Aaron Yoon was sentenced to spend 2 years, time done in December. Only something's up. A human rights activist says prosecutors have scheduled a new trial in this court as soon as next week, thinking Yoon's sentence was too short. He's worried, he says, because Yoon's original trial was before the Algerian attack, before anyone knew his connection to Ali Medledge and Chris Katsarubis. Mauritanian officials clearly now have serious questions, many do, not just about Aaron Yoon, who still insists he's innocent, but about all three Canadians. Somewhere in this region there are more answers, likely more danger. But the desert is slow to give the secrets up. A perfect place to plot and hide. Adrienne Arsenault, CBC News, Nouakchott, Mauritania.